All right, hey guys. First off, thanks to Coach. Appreciate him having me on here, talk a little ball with you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do here at Cathedral High School in Indianapolis. We are a 3-3 stack team. I'm going to go through really about as many coverages as I can in our time allotted here in the next 45 minutes. What you see up there, if you have any questions as we go through here, feel free to send me an email. My door is always open. A lot of this information is stuff that I learned and stole from somebody else, and now we try to just fit it in to make it our own. I've been a part of a program here at Cathedral that's been running this now for about 14 years. I've been a coordinator for 12 years. We have been fortunate enough to have some success, and we adapt and adjust all the time. I'm always looking to find a way to stay ahead of the offense and how it obviously will evolve as the years go on. So my Twitter handle's down there. My email is down there. Please shoot me any questions that you may have. If you want any documents, if this sparks an interest, then just let me know. Okay, so just a little bit about Cathedral, what we do. We are a school, obviously, in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're just under 1,100 students. That is co-ed. So we have about 500 to 550 boys in our school. Now in Indiana, that puts us in 4A as enrollment, but Indiana is a little weird compared to other states in the fact that every team will make the playoffs, and there is a success factor. So you can earn points based on being successful. So we are now going to be moving into 6A, which is the top enrollment class here in Indiana. We will be playing in that enrollment the next 2 years at least. Okay. As I said earlier, I've been coaching here at Cathedral for 16 years. I've been the defensive coordinator for 12 of those years. We've had a lot of really good players come through here. I've been fortunate to work with many people that make us look good as, number one, as coaches, when the players are obviously a high capability. And then obviously I work with a lot of a good staff that allows us to do a lot of different things as well. Now, if you're another coach looking at this list, don't laugh and chuckle about the number of coaches that are on here. Just please know that if you can get by with 5 coaches to run what we run here, we have a lot of lay coaches, and we need multiple people at multiple positions just because of schedules, which is, we have never had a staff this big just until last year. If you have 5, and I'll go through those 5 once we get to the rules of some of these coverages in just a minute, but 5 is all you need. We're just fortunate to have this number. Again, not all of these guys are there all the time. These are just, again, just some stats. I am not trying to justify why I'm speaking. That is not why I do clinics. Again, this is not about me and what we can do. I know sometimes things that I've done that have been successful won't work in certain situations, and we just try to adapt and adjust to fit our kids, to fit our scheme based on what we are seeing week in, week out. I know that some of this stuff may be good for you. You may adjust and adapt it for your kids. That's totally understandable. I totally get that. I think clinics are a good time for our profession to share and do a lot of things to help one another. Again, I'm not telling you how good I am at all. This is just sharing some information that I've learned that has been beneficial to us. And the reason I do put this slide up there is to just kind of say that we have been doing this. 2021 is kind of an anomaly because the defense was very good. But over the previous 11 seasons, we have had some success as well. So this isn't just a 1 year, not a one-hit wonder type of thing. We have had success over time doing what we do. Okay, these are the 3 staples of what we go by. Stole this from Urban Meyer when he was at his book and when he was at Ohio State. But this is, we talk about these 3 core concepts every single day. We will even run 340s at the end of every practice just to symbolize this is the culture that we want to develop. Again, I'll go quick through these and then we'll get into coverages, guys, I promise. Okay, this is why we even went to the 3-3 stack. You can read this. I don't need to read it to you, but it was something that fit our kids the best, mainly because of the first one there. We didn't have D linemen. We did not have two safeties. We were a 4-3 scheme. We lacked those safeties and we lacked the up front. So we had to find something that could complement. And then the 3-3 has then evolved into whatever hybrid defense we want to create. This is, again, fundamentally what we work on every single day is all revolves around these 5 areas right here. We want everything to be easy so that we know where to line up, no matter what the call is, based on their rules. And then their fundamental work should hopefully take over from there. No matter what the call is, even if they miss the call, they still know what gap is theirs, and they still know what technique to use in order to successfully accomplish whatever it is they need to do. Okay, these again, real quick, these are the terminology that we use. 3 defensive linemen, obviously, the Mike, Sam, the Will, and then we call our outside guys the overhangs, snake and the bear, and then our free safety and our 2 corners. A lot of times when you see our alignment, we are more of the 3-5-3 as opposed to a 3-3-5. We don't normally have those safeties back, but again, that is a game plan. But a base alignment for us would be more of that 3-5 as opposed to 3-3 with the safeties at 10 to 12 and the corners down. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. Okay, this is a list of our coverages. As I do this, I'm going to switch over here to Huddle, okay, to get to this presentation, okay, and go through this. These are the coverages that we use a lot, okay, and I'm going to go in order of these coverages, and we'll kind of get to as many of these as we can in our time allotted. We may get through all of them. We may only get through some. I got quite a few clips here because I think that's the best way for us to kind of talk about what we're seeing and the rules for every single player. Okay, so if we look at first cover 8, that's kind of our and is our base coverage. Okay, and it is a coverage that is an inverted 2. That's exactly kind of what it is. So if I again, I'm going to use the board here behind me. If I were to draw this up for you, okay, just to a 2x2 set, then I'll kind of look through what it is you're going to see. When we look at our rules as it states on here, okay, if we start in the middle, Sam, Mike, and Will, their alignment is always going to be based on number 2 receiver. Okay, let me move this up here so you can see the board as much as possible. Okay, their alignment's based on the number 2 receiver. If the number 2 receiver is attached, then he can stay in the box. If number 2 receiver is detached, he will bump out, as we call it, or he will displace his alignment just as enough that is necessary for his coverage. So on the hash, if he's short side of the field, he probably will not bump out too much. He may still be stacked inside, maybe more like in a 5 technique on that tackle. The Sam linebacker may need to bump out a little bit more if his number 2 is wider from the ball, okay, or from the end man of the line. So these alignment from the Sam and Will may change. We're going to be stacked with the Mike the majority of the time. Our outside backers, as I said, we're more of kind of a 3-5-3. We always kind of talk about a tip of 2 as their alignment, okay? And by what we mean by that is that outside shoulder pad 5x1 is what their alignment is going to be in almost every single coverage. Okay, so no matter if we are cover 8, cover 3, cover 6, man, we can take that tip of 2 alignment. Now we can move outside tip to inside tip really easily based on whatever coverage it is that we want to be in and based on whatever concept we're seeing from the offense. But the majority of the time, we're going to be outside tip of 2 as our main alignment. Okay. Corners are going to be 10x2 inside the number 1 receiver. Okay. 8 to 10 yards by 2 inside the number 1 receiver. We want to give that illusion that we're taking number 1 away, but as I'll tell you in a minute, we're not going to do that technique-wise. Okay. Our free safety, his alignment and his responsibility is strictly based on formation. Okay, and as you can see the rules that are up there right now, his alignment in a 2x2 set is going to be guard to the side of the running back, and that's mainly for run purposes. Okay, but when it comes to pass, as you can see here in this formation, is a 2x2 set. I hope you can see it with the glare. But in a 2x2 set, he's going to be a high hole player. He basically becomes like the Mike linebacker in a Tampa 2 defense. Okay? If it is a 2-back formation, we will have him rob to the number 2 receiver side. And if it is a trips formation, we can rob to that number 3 receiver side in our cover 8. And or if we go empty set, we can choose if we're going to go our cover 3 technique or if we're still going to rob based on the personnel of who we're facing, who they have at number 3 versus backside number 2, what his technique is going to be. Okay? And then our corners are going to be the half-field players. So many offenses, as they look at this, will assume a 1 high or cover 3 type coverage that's coming out of it. They would assume that this is a closed middle of the field, but in all reality, it's cover 2. It's just a different way to get to cover 2. All right, so let me show you some examples of what we're dealing with this coverage. Okay, and we'll talk through this a lot. So again, this is the coverage that makes us a little bit unique in how we run it. So if you need some more information or want some more information on this, again, send me an email. We can talk about it. Okay, so again here, this is an alignment. We're a big tight front in the alignment to where we're going to have a lot of 4-eye, 0-4-eye in our alignment. If we are in our base call, we will give a lot of what we call outlaw calls to these defensive ends anyway to put them in the B gap. I like 4-eyes a lot, and the main reason we went to 4-eyes was because I lost trust that our players could get there from a pinch call if they were not already in the gap. So I felt it was more efficient for us to just say line up in the gap, and then we will do several techniques off of that. Again, that's more for a different talk on run play. But if we check the alignment of our Sam and Will here, this could be more of what we call a show call, where they're going to show like they're blitzing off the edge, but their responsibility is going to get to number 2. Okay, our outside linebacker, okay, tip a 2 alignment, corners about 8 to 10 yards, about 2/3 to 3/4 towards the number 1 receiver, in between 1 and 2, and then free safety, in this case, cheating towards the trips a little bit. Okay, so if we let this run here, and then I'll go back, you're going to see, let's look at the short side of the field first, so the 2 receiver side. Okay, from here, number 2, the outside linebacker, he's going to get underneath the number 1 receiver. Our Will, in this case, is going to drop to the number 2 receiver. Our corner is going to get himself to half field. So we're going to get something like this. Look right there. Okay, so let's look at that side first. Okay, pretty good. Okay, we're trying to get into that hook curl area, 47, the Sam linebacker. We will then force this throw here. You're going to see the outside backer kind of open up to anticipate the wheel. We want to make them throw short and rally to it. 47, again, just wants to get into that hook curl area. Okay, a lot of things that a lot of guys will do wrong is he'll start to get deep and try to get next to the receiver as opposed to in the lane. The ball can't go through as opposed to it can go next to him. If you look at the top side, the trip side, same kind of thing. Outside backer is going to get under. We're going to drop past number 3 to number 2, get into half field. Now, this is where an empty you can decide what you want to do. Does he rob or does he start to slow pedal out of the snap and against empty? In this case, he kind of slow pedals to anticipate what's going on. Okay. Now, again, this is a 3-man rush, but I would attribute this more to the coverage. Okay, our Mike, we can decide what we want to do with the mic. Okay, so the mic can drop quick to 3, or the mic can become an automatic quarterback spy player. Okay, so it's not really a drop 8. It's more of a drop 7 with a spy in this case, just because of what they were doing. Okay, so that's against an empty set. Okay, this is a 2-back set. Okay, they're in a weak alignment, but they got basically a tight end H-back here that's going to motion to the other side. Motion to the other side does not affect us at all. Okay, so our alignment, we have an attached number 2, and there's only a tackle on one side. So now our alignment for these outside guys becomes about 4x5-ish. Okay, and when I say ish, we want these guys to move. When we get to different more coverages, this whole idea of what we call prowling is when they will adjust their alignment. He may show out here in cover 2 and then move down, or vice versa. Okay. We never want these guys stuck in mud, as I call it. Okay. They should be moving now. Here, 12, he's got to move a little bit. Okay, they're both a little bit too stuck. Okay, he gets somewhat of a run fake, starts to get out under 1. We're going to rob to 2 here with number 7, the free safety. And really what I tell him, what we're trying to do, if he goes vertical, is we want this ball to get up in the air. Okay, the ball gets up in the air. This is going to give our corners time to then now have field range. We are a pedal team. Okay, if our corners have a number 2 and there is a big split between 1 and 2, they will open up. As you saw in the first clip, they will open up to get to that number 2 receiver to take away the 4 vertical route. So again, this is a great play by that corner, just a range to get all the way over there for as much as he would need to, depending on the route that he's getting. Okay, let's move on here. Here's a quads look. Okay, so now from here, because it is quads, now of course it's still going to be our cover 8. We just have to bump our backers to account for the extra receiver that's to this side. Now we basically are going to man up on the backside of this. Okay, we're going to force him to throw short. We'll give that up. Okay, and we can roll number 2, this backside, our bear can roll to the middle third if we wanted him to. We can have the free safety be a little bit more aggressive now on number 3. Still half-field play by the corner. He should be deeper than the deepest, so I'm not real thrilled about his technique there. Okay, this is a 2x2 set. Okay, when you get a 2x2 set, ace formation here, we do like to, or I like to walk up our inside linebackers to make it look like a 5-1 look. Okay, we will also invert back our outside linebackers. All right, what you're going to see here is you're going to see motion. So as motion, the outside guys move. Now this is what's going to allow us to get into our cover 8. Okay, he's going to get out under 1, half field coverage, free safeties, Robin 3. Okay, now you have sprint. So now sprint obviously brings in a little bit different on the rules. Anytime we sprint this way, the free safety has middle level. In this case, he's going to play a little tighter to this tight end because, as you'll notice, number 2 is also going to the flat, which is going to draw our outside linebacker. So free safety does a good job here of noticing routes. This was more a game plan of how we were going to cover this. Okay. In a case like that, we should also, the Mike linebacker should be bombing. And really what this could turn out to be is a 6-man pressure or even a 5-man pressure with a late spy as quickly as possible. We got 47 who should be turning them in. Does a good job to get the ball out quick. Okay, again, this, we would call this and we would game plan this as being a two-back set. Okay, in two-back sets, it's automatic cover 8 for us. You're going to see outside linebacker should here. If he does it right, should get underneath number 1. Free safety is robbing number 2. The corner is over the top. So it should be here, rob, half field. Okay. Now, again, ideally is helping on number 2 here. But anytime it's two backs, I'm not as worried about the Sam and Will coverage. They can be very aggressive to any play fake, which is what we get here. So we get some play action fake. They want to throw it quick. Okay. Now, even though he's wrong, okay, even though this guy is really wrong, he goes off this play action fake. Okay. And because of that, he's in the passing lane. Okay. Right here, this ball, and I can float it, but the ball has to go over the top of him. It can't go through him. Okay? And now our free safety does a great job of getting in the lane. We don't want this guy to get vertical. Okay. Free safety's got to go lateral. Okay. To get here in the robber lane. He has help from behind from the corner. Okay. So he needs to understand that with his responsibility. Okay. And here he does a good job of seeing the route and then just kind of forcing the throw. Not a very good throw, so to speak, but it's also a pretty good play by the free, just getting in that lane. Okay. And this is a quads look to start. And then you're going to see our backers shift over with the motion. Okay. I would love to see even 39 come a little bit further. It keeps moving, keeps creeping a little bit, but it's also the short side of the field, as I mentioned earlier, so he doesn't have to bump as far. I would like to see the Sam probably in the screen here a little bit. Okay, but again, they don't have too much of a run threat other than the quarterback draw, and we still have guys in position to help us on this. Okay, this is cover 8, so we should be getting a little bit flatter to get to number 2. St. X out of Cincinnati loves to do a lot of tunnel screens. Okay, this is a good play by the backer. I'm noticing number 2 coming out to block number 1 and then squeezes these linemen. Okay, again, this is some older film from about 2011, 2012. Okay, again, two-back set, regular pro set. Going to get a quick sprint here. Outside linebackers, understanding their hi-hat reads. These guys, outside backers, will read guards. Okay, they get a hi-hat look from that guard. They're going to get flat and get underneath number 1. Just get into the passing lane. Okay, another empty set here. You can see the alignment. This is against Cincinnati LaSalle. Okay, I think this one is with the Sam backer right here. Does a good job of getting into the passing lane, forcing this throw, okay, over the top and high. We want to make the quarterback see us and sail his throws. You can see a little bit of the technique here by the corner, how he opens up to get to the number 2 receiver. He's got to get to his half field range if it's all vertical. And here the Mike linebacker is getting underneath 3 quick, and then he would get back to the quarterback after that. Get another empty set. Looking at alignment of everything, showing blitz, getting ourselves out of there. Okay, good range by the corner. Would love to see the free safety stay a little bit more to the middle of the field just because of the passing strength. That's obviously what they were trying to do. Okay, another trips route. Again, this shows you the good robber coverage. What we can do here now, and where this comes into play, is we can really be aggressive with our free safety. We can call a backside call, whether it's going to be sling or anything that we want to make up and call. That's going to tell this is number 2. This is the backside outside linebacker. So he can invert back, and he will take the middle third. Free safety is going to roll down and play really hard robber coverage off number 3. We still have the Sam, who's going to then cross underneath him to get to 2. And as I always joke with my guys, if this was a spear, this corner would be dead. Hits him right in the chest. Use your hands. That's all right. It's a great play. I love that kid, so I can give him a hard time. Okay, this is Cincinnati Moeller. Again, 2-back set. We can bring pressure when it's a 2-back set, okay, and still be our cover 8. So again, this is the number 2 receiver that they are. Let me see if here's the wide angle of it. Okay, same play. So under 1, Robin 2, half field. Forces the ball up in the air. That's what we want to try to get. Same kind of thing. This is wing trips. Based on what these guys did a lot of, they would keep him in to block. Same kind of concept here. Okay. Under 1, Robin 2, half field. Okay, let's get to that next coverage here. I've seen a lot of this. Like I said, I got quite a bit of film here just to make sure we're good. Okay, cover 2. Now, only thing that's going to be different, if you still can see the board a little bit, only thing that's going to change for our cover 2 is I'm going to flip 2 guys. Our outside linebacker is going to go now tip of 1, and he's going to be 5 by 1 on the outside of the number 1 receiver. And now we're going to go 8 to 10 yards outside tip of number 2 with the corner on both sides. Okay, and this is our cover 2. Now we can play a couple different techniques with our outside guys of cover 2. We can play more of a hard 2. We can play a bail where we can come down and make it look like we're going to jam. We're not really going to jam. Okay, or we can play more of a palms where we're going to give a little bit more just to force them to throw to the flat as quickly as possible. Sam and Will, nothing changes. They're dropping to number 2. Okay, they're walling off or matching number 2. Number 3, same rules. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, you might say, well, when are you doing cover 8 versus cover 2? Well, I mean, obviously passing situations is the easiest answer to that. But if it's a team that's not gonna threaten the alleys, then you're gonna be in a 2-by-2 set, but you're gonna run inside zone, or you're gonna run 1-back power. Then I'm not worried about you attacking right here. And we always have our free safety based on how we play him against the run, which again, that's kind of a different discussion with how we use our free safety. But if you're not going to threaten that, then we're going to put these guys out here because it helps us more against 4 vertical. Okay, so instead of dropping to these spots, we're going to line up in these spots. Right? But still, it's straight cover 2. Okay? So This first one, this is kind of, everybody always asks about what do you do against bunch? Well, okay, well, this is a bunch situation right up here. Okay, and we're going to get into our cover two anytime they call a bunch. Okay, in this case, we can still get a 3/3. We can sometimes pressure and bring this guy, or we can now get a 4/3 by dropping him into this mix. Okay, and it still trips rules because, again, free safety coverage is determined by the offensive formation. So even though we called cover two, he knows trips, I'm either going to rob, okay, or I'm going to go cover three based on whatever the call is. Okay. Down here on the bottom, okay, you can tell now we're just going to invert maybe a little bit and bring this guy down hard and make it look like press man and take him away. Single receiver side, as you guys know, always allows you to do whatever you want to game plan wise. So here we're going to say play more like an off. Okay, bail to the single receiver side, cover two up top. Now we're just going to get some pressure, okay, up the middle, which is going to allow us with our stunt game because of what it allows you to do. Okay. Again, here, time you get a condensed formation, very similar to what we just saw in the trips bunch, is this is going to be a bunch situation for us. So no matter what it's called, we are going to put our guys in what we feel is the best position for them to be successful. And I always want to make sure that our contained guys versus the run, these outside linebackers, are in a good position to still do that. And we can still funnel everything else inside out. Okay, so let's take a look at this again. What do we get here? So this is a mesh concept, okay? Curl from here, post on the backside, back leaks out. Pretty common mesh style that we're going to get. Our inside backers are going to pass off this mesh route. Now, the sandbacker, because the back leaks out to his side, is going to be taught to come out a little bit faster and off of this drag a little bit sooner. The mic will help to the side where the back goes. Now, he gets a little caught up here. But I'm okay even if he throws this backer's in a good position, as you'll see, to help here or to help with this guy here. Our free safety, because of the condensed formation, as you can see, he's going to stay down here for the curl. So we got the curl covered here. They throw to that drag route, which is probably where they should have thrown the ball. And then we're right there with our Sam linebacker to make the play. And our outside linebacker is really playing this pretty well based on what we tell them as well. Force this short throw, and then we're going to rally. Last thing we want him to do is jump this, and then most likely when this guy wheels, he's going to outrun this cat. Okay, get another condensed formation. Cover two look here. This is more of a delayed pressure that we have called get him out of the pocket. Now here we're a little bit too late getting out to our cover two, being a little bit lazy. Our alignment's not very good, but he covers up for it. Fledger's going to make the play. And it's just a jump ball. And you can see cover two both sides here. Okay, now 6 here at the bottom is playing a little bit more of a hard two. Sometimes we'll tell them, hey, don't fall off the cliff. Stay there and see. Sometimes we'll play more of our palms technique, again, which will give a little bit of ground to it. Here, free safety, again, 2 by 2. sitting a little bit more in the middle of the field. It's a good job by him. Same kind of thing. This is Trey. So you got tight end trips. Wing trips this time. This is what I mean by prowling. Okay, down here at the bottom. Moving in and out a little bit. Make them not sure what you're doing. Okay, now we've got cover 2 on both sides. We'll do one more cover 2 here. Again, good job of prowling up top. 44. Now, this is probably a little bit too lax. But again, this is playing more of that palms technique where we're giving a little bit more ground as opposed to a hard 2. Okay, down here at the bottom, playing more of the don't fall off the cliff. Okay, and that's going to depend upon, we will do it based on the kid and based on the offensive receiver. As you can see, a little bit bigger bodied here. Not worried about him and his speed threat as much down here. Okay, let's get to again, I can go through any more of this coverage that you want to see or not want to see. I'll show you this one real quick. Okay, this is just, again, our cover, a check to double tight that we have. I briefly talked about it earlier. Okay, but what it's going to end up becoming is more of like a cover, a 4 concept where these guys, if they cross, they're going to switch it off. If they go out, okay, it's going to be a match collision deliver type of coverage. Okay, so cover 3, we will mainly only run cover 3 if we are bringing a 5-man pressure. I know a lot of 3-3 stack guys will live in cover 3, but I'm one that only wants to call it if we're bringing 5 or 6. I want to have the free safety more involved in the run game than just having him snap. We want him to work downhill as much as possible. Okay, so now the bear and snake, again, same alignment as I drew up for cover 8. Okay, and so now all we're going to get is we're going to get a 5-man pressure with these guys in the D line, and now we're going to match collision deliver seam flat technique off the number 2, as opposed to these guys now coming out to get underneath number 1. Okay, now we can make this look more like man by going a 3 bail and putting the corners down and having them bail on the snap. I don't like just giving up the 5-yard hitch, even though I know that's what cover 3 is supposed to do in a way. But I want to at least give the appearance that we're going to play a little bit tighter to number 1. Okay, so 2x2 set here. Okay, bringing a pressure inside. Okay, we'll look at coverage first, and then yes, I know you're going to look at this pressure and say, what's this guy doing? And I'll talk about that in just a second. But if you look at the top of the screen, it's a really good job of kind of the cover 3 technique. All right, we're making it tighter up here, tighter here. Corner's going to get himself out of there late to the middle third. We're going to get a collision. Okay, we want to make sure we don't just let a guy go vertical. Okay, if we don't get a collision at a 2x2 on this number 2 receiver, then they're going to run 4 vertical all day long. We have to make sure we get a collision on number 2. So this is where we can play outside tip, we can play inside tip. It doesn't matter. We're playing more outside tip this year because we wanted to force these guys to come inside to run their route on both sides and throw the ball to this guy. Let our free safety go and pick it off. Okay. If there's there are times when, depending on the split of this guy, we'll just move him inside and say, take away the inside and force him to stay over the top of it because now the corner can cover both. But here you're going to get a smash concept pretty much up top with a whip out. Okay. But he gets off of it right away. He, meaning the outside backer, to get down here. So pretty good job. Not necessarily very he stops a vertical. That's what I can say. Okay? It's not a huge collision. Now, yes, I understand the pressure. This guy's supposed to stay outside. Our defensive end's supposed to stay outside. We're blitzing B gap. We're blitzing A gap. Okay? Real quick on the pressure, and then I'll move on with talking about coverage here. Okay? He ducks inside. Everybody wants to duck inside because that's, I mean, all these combines and everything, it's just a matter of where he can beat a guy. But he's got to stay outside. If he stays outside, there's nowhere for this quarterback to run. We have our contain and we're good. Okay? We're just fortunate that 47's a pretty athletic kid. Okay, and I mean, you can look at these guys. This 26, he's 5'8", 170 pounds. Okay, 5'10". Okay, number 5, 47 is about 6 foot, 6'1" maybe, 195, 200 pounds. Number 7, he is 5'10". So these are not all 6 foot, 6'3" guys here. Okay. Okay, cover 3 here. Same look against these guys that we were giving them earlier when we were on cover 8. You can't really, in my opinion, you can't really tell if this is cover 8 or cover 3 right now. All right. We were showing you some film earlier of this guy showing and then bailing. Now this time we're going to bring the pressure. Okay. Free safety based on ability with him in this number 3, that's a full start, can now be a little bit more aggressive on this number 3. It's a good break. Mike linebacker can probably just get a little bit flatter to get under. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's just a pretty good throw. Pretty good defensive play by the free. But we get a collision here. And again, we're bringing pressure. Okay, with 5, you got to win a one-on-one. Or scheme-wise, we've got to get it confused. Okay, trips again. Now here's what you're going to see. This is where we're going to kind of sling it. Meaning we'll walk that free safety down. Okay, now we're going to take this backside outside linebacker and go to the middle third. And again, we're doing that and we're bringing pressure. So here we're giving a little bit different, almost a 4-man front look. Double A's, bring the Sam off the edge. Okay, and the Mike linebacker through the B gap. So now we're giving a different look altogether. And we got 3 guys there. Again, it was a little rainy. Okay, 32's just got to bring this in. Oh, good play. He's in the right spot. In the right spot. Okay, again, here's double tight with trips. This is against Louisville Trinity. Okay, anytime we have a nub tight in here, these guys are going to call bunch. It just means cover 2. So he's going to play it like cover 2 on the single nub side. And then up top, it's cover 3. Again, see cover 3 here. He's looking to collision here, but he's coming to block, so now he can get outside to contain this. And we have our Sam and our free safety coming to this. Okay. All right, guys, that's about 45 minutes or so. Again, let me jump back to this first screen, put my stuff back up here, contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions on this. Obviously, there's some other coverages that I didn't get to that we run, stuff to take away RPOs, etc., without just going straight man. I don't like to go straight man, and I don't like to necessarily just go straight zone. We want to muddy it, those reads as much as possible. Okay? Again, appreciate Brian and Coach having me on here to talk to you guys. Again, my door is always open. Please feel free to reach out. If you need anything, I will do my best to help you. And I wish you guys the best of luck going forward.